Hello, I'm MC Toon. This is a little more serious stream. I do not take this lightly, and if you can tell from the title, it's a pretty serious thing. I don't take it lightly. I've thought quite a bit about how to address this topic and to do it appropriately. Spoke with my wife. She's often more intuitive about these types of things. And so I'm going to do my best to present what's fair and not push my view too strongly on this. So the title says pathological. Wait, narcissist. Well, hold on a second. I want to get it right. And oh, that's not it. I'll get the correct wording. So I know. So the title, as it's going live, is Pathological Narcissistic Grandiosity. So this is I did a bunch of readings so that I could try to understand this position and present it appropriately. So I'll go into the beginning here where I have some of the signs of grandiose narcissism and how to deal with it. Now, a lot of the treatment of narcissism is within a marriage or a dating or relationship type environment because it affects those people the most closely. So just be understanding that not all of these things that I'm showing are just about other people. They sometimes are about marriage in particular. So, so what are the signs? So what does the term mean? Grandiose narcissist is someone who displays an excessive sense of self-importance. In a highly visible and showy manner, their inflated sense of self-esteem often comes at the expense of relationships or activities that would benefit them in other ways. They rely heavily on others to validate their importance, even going so far as to deceive others in order to gain admiration or recognition from them. What are the signs of a grandiose narcissist? Include an inflated sense of self-importance, a need for admiration and recognition from others, and a lack of empathy. Grandiose narcissists may also display the following behaviors: arrogant or haughty behavior, exaggerated stories or accomplishments. Pay attention to that. A tendency to domineer conversations. An obsession with money, power, prestige, anger when confronted with negative behaviors, a need for excessive attention or praise, a lack of remorse or guilt. When they hurt someone, an inability to accept criticism, and an inflated sense of entitlement. I will put these in the chat, or sorry, not the chat, the description of the video after it's done. So, what do they want? And here, this is important. A grandiose narcissism versus vulnerable narcissism. Of course, they overlap. Sometimes you will see people play victim games. That comes in later. So here's another one. This is from marriage.com. Like I said, these are sometimes focused more on relationships, but a narcissist can be a narcissist to anybody. So again, this is talking about the differentiation, but here's some signs of a narcissist, a grandiose narcissist. The name is quite appropriate. Anyway, superficial charm. One of the primary features is that people with this condition present as incredibly charming. At the beginning of the relationship, they may appear highly attractive and charming. In fact, their charm is usually what helps people with a grandiose narcissistic personality disorder to attract a partner. Okay, again, that's not what I'm talking about here. But as time goes on, the initial charm fades. So they come across as immature. Not necessarily something that I think is I'm pointing out here. Outbursts of anger. Again, I think this happens in this instance that I'm alluding to, but we don't see it. I think this person has learned. Double standards. I think this is one of the most important things. Double standards. A relationship with a grandiose narcissist is likely to feel one-sided with double standards. Now, this is specifically talking about in marriage, but I think the double standard thing is extremely applicable. Extremely. Frequent bragging. Grandiose narcissists are known for their frequent bragging. In most social situations, they will take over the conversation and tell everyone about their accomplishments. They may even exaggerate their achievements, so long as they remain the center of attention. Flashiness, sexual promiscuity, tendency to blame others. That's an important one too. Narcissistic grandiosity is associated with a tendency to blame others for one's shortcomings. They need to feel always come first, lack of empathy, need for constant admiration, a sense of entitlement, and here we get to 13, expectation of compliance. In relationships, grandiose narcissists do not view you as a person with unique needs and free will. Instead, they view you as an extension of themselves and expect automatic compliance with their demands. For example, they might say over and over, well, do you agree with me that? Or do you concede that? You see, that's an expectation of compliance. They're rigid in their beliefs. Seen this before, haven't we? A grandiose narcissist views themselves as being superior to others. For example, somebody might think that they're smarter than Einstein, as an example, right? And as such, they believe that their way of thinking is perfect. If you challenge their beliefs, they will become angry and maintain their way of thinking even when presented with evidence that it's flawed. They're likely to become hostile if you challenge our belief systems. And then vindictiveness. If you cross a grandiose narcissist, there are likely to be consequences. That is topic 1. Topic 2, pathological lying. Deceit is the linchpin of consciousnessless behavior. So, I'm going to breeze most of this, but this is a really good article on psychopathfree.com. This is somebody writing in the beginning of my recovery. So this person was a victim of a pathological liar. I discovered the man I knew and had never existed. I held on to one solid piece of truth that I had finally figured out. He was a liar. I held on tightly to that fact and started to research pathological lying on the internet. Unfortunately, I came up with nothing helpful. I think there's, maybe this was a while ago and now there is more stuff. It was only when I painstakingly found my way to sociopathy, psychopathy, that I uncovered accurate answers to my many questions. I eventually realized that pathological lying and psychopathy are inextricably linked. So this is in relationship. So this is an interesting. Psychopaths lie effortlessly and are very convincing. Psychopaths experience pleasure from lying because they lack the normal range of human emotions. They are empty and bored. Have you ever heard anybody say, oh, I'm bored? This is boring. Have you ever heard that? Think about that. They lack empathy for others and they do not feel shame or remorse. This emptiness also enables them to lie with minimal effort. They can look other people straight in the eye without flinching and lie quickly and guiltlessly, even when confronted with probing questions and evidence of previous deception. It's also easy for them to deny the lies, make up excuses, and project their own behavior onto others, which is, of course, a lie in itself. Although some psychopaths do not bother with apologies, others say they're sorry on a regular basis. Psychopaths sometimes lie to make others feel sorry for them. So there's that one. And the final in this series of articles here, how narcissists blame and accuse others for their own shortcomings. People with strong narcissistic tendencies and other dark personality traits tend to blame others for their own bad behavior. If they're lying, then they'll accuse others of lying. If they're cruel, they will say that others are cruel. If they're stealing and scamming, they will say they will accuse others of stealing and scamming. They never take responsibilities, and it's always someone else's fault. Besides ascribing their undesirable character traits to others, they will attribute all the good characteristics to themselves. For example, if they see someone being nice, they'll say, all right, manipulation tactics, deflecting. By deflecting focus from their own wrongdoings, you may call it diversion too, the manipulator expects that others will forget about them and ignore or even forget about what happened. It can be illustrated by the following. Don't examine me, look at this shiny thing here. Or, these are not the droids you're looking for. Putting others in defense mode instead of addressing people's concerns, admitting fault, or examining their own problematic behavior, the manipulator attacks others. By doing so, they hope that to do two main things: deflect attention from themselves and make themselves look better by making others look worse. And garner some sympathy too, right? They would say, no, you're the one doing horrible things. Yeah, but look how awful this other person is. And you get that with kids. If you've ever raised a kid, you say this, hey, you did something wrong. Oh, but my sister did that too. Doesn't change that what you did is wrong. That's a separate topic. We can go address that with them outside of this conversation with you. 3, lying to look better. As explained in the previous section, narcissistic manipulators try to make themselves look better by putting others down. If you look worse than they are, then maybe I will look better than I am. But besides that, they talk explicitly about themselves in an exaggerated and unnatural manner. They tend to brag a lot. How much money they have, how good they are at their job, how much better they are than, how much better than others they are, how everyone is jealous of them, how everyone loves them, how great of a person they are, so on. The main mechanism here is lying, or at least gross exaggeration. If they have any accomplishments, they will exaggerate them, add to them, and make them look better than they are. However, they mostly just lie. They lie a lot. And at first it may seem confusing, and you may even feel like you should give them the benefit of the doubt, even if something looks suspicious. But after a while, it's clear that most, if not all, of the things coming out of their mouths are blatant lies. Victim blaming and playing the victim. Narcissistic manipulators are fake fragile, and they are cowards. They pretend to be strong, call others weak and sensitive, bully and abuse people, but if you challenge them about their lies or stand up for yourself, they immediately start playing the fragile victim. Look, I'm being attacked. You're the real bully. They're so mean to me. As this person wrote in an article, narcissists also like to truncate the story and present only the bit where the aggravated party reacted to their toxic behavior, framing it as if that's where the story started. They will shamelessly blame the actual victim by saying that they deserved it, or even gaslight by claiming it did not happen. So, there is my description of some of the background reading I did on this particular topic. And I have unfortunately been known a few people that this described in my life. Fortunately, never in a romantic way, but people I worked with. A friend of mine from high school would do this all the time. His car, he liked to jack up the back end of his car, so the car was jacked up, and he bragged to me how one time his dad got in the car and saw that the gas was on empty. And so his dad gave him money to fill up the car. And he's like, well, because the back end is tipped up, the float for the gas tank when it says it's empty, it's actually half full. A different day, we get in the car, or we're in the car, and he's like, "Oh, you should drive because I don't have much gas." And I look over at his gas tank, and it's half full. Right? And he says, "Oh, no, because the back end is jacked up. The float is on the side of the gas tank. When it says that it's half full, it's actually almost empty." Which is it? I'm like, that was a lie. You just blatantly lied to me. And I confronted him on it. I told him about his dad. I don't remember exactly what he did, but he did the thing that pathological liars do. They covered their lies with more lies. So I'm bringing somebody on in a little bit here when I get to a future point here. So I don't know if you figured it out yet, but here is the person puffing up their own chest by putting others down. Somebody who calls people this word all the time. Think of themselves as the alpha. They are the grandiose one, and everybody else is nothing. And here you go.
Gamma, 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 gamma.
That was most of the gammas from one video.
Gamma, 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 gamma.
Not all, most. Witsit. Witsit is very fond of calling other people gamma. He has dropped it more recently, but it wasn't hard to find him saying that. Grandiose narcissists make brag about their accomplishments or how awesome they are.
Dude, I'm not trying to brag here or whatever just to make my point. I'm in the higher percentile of IQ.
You would get demolished. I would wipe the floor with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Literally, I would demolish that dude.
You're getting destroyed, though.
I'm not trying to brag here.
Oh, okay. My 160 IQ disagrees with you.
My genius IQ.
Now I know all the answers. I have a genius IQ. I'm just saying, my genius IQ goes out the window.
They'll claim I'm stupid, claim I'm dumb, when my IQ literally proves that that's not the case.
I'm not trying to brag here.
He's not trying to brag, but he brags. He brags a lot about how smart he is. Those on the street, that was when he was doing his street evangelism for Flat Earth. He would yell at people across the street, talking about his genius IQ. Here we have some Facebook comments, mostly talking where he was bragging about his incredibly high IQ. So yeah. And he's happy to demand that people take an IQ test live on camera with him. So yeah, he did. Yeah, the number of times that he's done that, right? That was not all of them. I ran out of time. Seriously, there's so many. So there you go. He says, should I read some of these? He said, my IQ literally towers over yours and you constantly call me stupid. WTF, lol. I take cues from no one. I bet my IQ is a minimal of 50 points higher than yours. So I'm dumb. What's that say about you? Seriously, this is what he does. This is a grandiose narcissist. Well, let's see about algebra. What does he say about his abilities in algebra?
And they'll say, oh, he just can't understand math. And I literally used to get accused of cheating in my algebra honors class, right? Because I wouldn't show my work and I'd be the first done it, and she thought I was cheating. And I'd have to go, she'd give me a new piece of paper, a new test, and I'd just breeze through it in front of her again, and to prove I wasn't cheating. And then she'd end up accusing me of cheating again, and numerous math classes this actually happened, but it doesn't matter. I'm certainly not trying to brag.
Yeah, like when I was good at algebra and I would just like breeze through algebra and do it in like 2 steps.
You should call and talk to some of my teachers. I used to get in trouble because they said I was cheating on my algebra because I didn't have to work it out.
But I had like an aptitude for math. Like if I sat down with you guys when we were in high school and Algebra 2 honors, I would have smoked you, dude.
I'm certainly not trying to brag.
I used to finish long form algebra without showing the work. But I literally have an aptitude for math, bro.
I have an aptitude for math.
I'm so tired of people saying I can't do math, dude. I scored like incredible on my math entry exams in the college preparatory classes and stuff like that. And full ride to private university and stuff.
Honestly, I just got a full ride to play football.
But I literally have an aptitude for math, bro. And dude, it's well known that I have like an aptitude for math.
I'm certainly not trying to brag.
I got a scholarship to a private university.
He says it's well known that he has an aptitude for math. The reason why it's well known is because he constantly tells everybody about his aptitude for math. But he doesn't actually have an aptitude for math. That's an absolute clear thing. This next one here, I have somebody will be joining me for this portion coming up here. So did he say it's well known? And I think it's important. He bragged on the street while doing his dumb street evangelism that he got a full ride to a private university. Went to Cumberland University. But he got a full ride, so he says, to play football. But he didn't say that when he was bragging about getting a full ride. He was intentionally leading the person to think that his full ride was because he's so smart. But it was for football. And he didn't even play. He got redshirted. So, means you don't play. I don't know why he got redshirted. I just know he didn't play. He also, I don't know. Cumberland University is an NAIA school, which means that they have a fixed number of scholarships that they can give out. And they're very reluctant to hand out full scholarships to anyone. So what they tend to do is they tend to chop them up and give a quarter scholarship to this person and a quarter scholarship to this person. So did he get a full ride? I don't know. But he said in the clip that I put on a little bit ago that he never went to class, right? He's so smart that he never went to class, right? And it was for a business degree. So don't know what that whoop-de-doo. So, all right. I'm going to show this one here. Let me, I got Bryant is joining me in a second here. And the reason why is because this is what was sent to Bryant. And so I'm going to actually make this a little bigger. So after he bragged about being able to do math so well, this is what he sent. Now, if you're wondering, why are these lines alternating black and white? So, Bryant, I'm hearing a little bit of echo. So if you can get headphones, that'd be best. Anyway, the reason why it's alternating black and white, I'll go over in a second, but here he is trying, this is the email. He's like, you haven't even read the paper. You're telling me it's trash, right? This is this paper that he's been touting lately. Hey, haha, dude, his credentials blow yours out of the water. How often has Witsit talked about credential fallacy? The guy so obsessed with credentials suddenly says it doesn't matter. See, he totally goes. Anyway, so then he goes, so really it is just that you're a narcissist, he says to Brian Myers. Now, of anybody that you might accuse of being a narcissist, I don't think Brian Myers is in that list even. So I'm going to get him on here in a second. All right, I gotta take care of that. So, all right. But this math paper, I'll go over it quickly here. It starts with this is the math he sent. It starts at the top with Coulomb's law, and then some text here where F is the force, K equals 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught, right? If you've done Coulomb's law, you know what that is. And then we get the law of gravitational attraction. And then it goes FG equals FE equal, which you can't do. You can't just blindly equate gravity and electrostatic force. But then it just goes equals K times Q squared. So that's Coulomb's law, divided by 2R squared, which is I don't know why 2R is in there. Well, I do know why 2R is in there, but it does not make sense. You use just R probably. It's supposed to be the distance, the diameter of a proton. Why 2R? Because R is the radius of a proton? Okay. But later, it uses a different value. It's a little weird. Anyway, so you get this here. Fe equals Q, KQ2 squared over 2R squared. And then solving for G. Well, there's no G in that equation. So somebody who had an aptitude for math would say, well, there's no G in that equation. What's going on there? G equals G m1 over R squared. That's correct. That is G, gravitational constant, times m1, which would be the mass of the Earth, divided by the radius squared. Now, it's not 2R. It's the radius squared. So that's the gravitational force on the surface of the Earth. And then equating that to K times Q squared over, and then Y, 4 pi squared times m1. Why is m1 over there? No idea. How did that happen? That doesn't make any sense. And why 4r squared? Where did the 4 come from? Why not? Why is this mixing of the R in the top equation here, the Coulomb's law equation in the top? That's R is the radius of a proton. And the R in the bottom one is the radius of the Earth. You can't equate them. Anyway, substituting the values for G, uppercase, Q, K, and M1, we get 6.67 times 10 to the negative 11, which is the gravitational constant, Newton meter squared per kilogram squared. That's correct, actually. Times 1.6 times 10 to the negative 19 Coulomb squared. Now, that makes sense. So we have Q squared, and Q is the charge of one proton. And it's squared, so you got Coulomb squared. Divided by, now this kind of falls off the rails a little bit here. 4 times 1.5 times 10 to the negative 15 meters squared. Now that's the radius of a proton. But we had this mixing of R's in the other ones. Actually, they cancel if you do it right, but it's not done right. Anyway, times 1.7, 1.67 times 10 to the negative 27 kilograms. That's the mass of a proton. But why is that in the denominator? I don't know why it's in the denominator, because it wasn't. It wasn't in the denominator of that weird equation above. It was also in the numerator, which it has magically disappeared. It was on the other side. Anyway, and then it just says G is about equal to 9.81 meters per second squared. When you actually plug in those numbers, you do not get 9.81 meters per second squared. You do not even get meters per second squared. None of those numbers in that previous line actually nets to 9.81 or meters per second squared. But then we see, therefore, we've derived the acceleration due to gravity. I'm reading this after Bryant sent this to me. I'm like, where did that come from? Austin didn't write this. From Coulomb's law, be equating the gravitational force between two masses to the electrostatic force between two protons. However, it should be noted the derivation is based on certain assumptions. No kidding. And simplification may not accurate and reflect the true nature of gravity or electromagnetism. Now, after he sent this to Bryant, and Bryant, I'm still hearing some echo from me. So, anyway, So here is Bryant joining us now because Bryant was the happy recipient of this particular email with that math in it. Welcome, Bryant. Oh, so your audio is completely weird. Something's definitely not going right with your audio. So, I don't know what's going on. Yeah. Can you reconnect maybe? Yeah. All right. So anyway, this math is an absolute dismal. It's a masterpiece of wrongness is what it is. And anybody that had an aptitude for math would see just the basics of this. Say, Wesson, none of these steps are wrong, are right. None of these steps are right. They're all over the place. So I don't know what he was thinking. Well, I do know what he was thinking. The reason why there's alternating dark and white lines is because he copy pasted this from ChatGPT. I know because I tested it. I know he uses a Mac. I use a Mac. I went to ChatGPT. I asked it a question. I copy, pasted into an email. This is exactly what it looked like. So Whitsett, who, Mr. Aptitude for Math, instead of doing the math, here we go. He's back. He did not do it himself. He tried to get ChatGPT to do it for him. All right, Brian, can you... Ooh, there we go. That's better.
Yeah, I just did a podcast last night.
Oh, it's cutting out again. Can you get closer? Or turn up the gain on your mic or something? No, it's all over the place. No, it's not better. I spoke too soon, Bryant. Yeah, it's really choppy. Maybe on Facebook? Should we try that? Let's try connecting on Facebook. You could at least be on audio. There we go. All right. Let's go back to this. That's weird. No worky there. So all right.
I'm just going to use my computer audio because something's wrong with the mic here.
All right. Yep. I hear you much better now, and hopefully I didn't speak too soon on that. So, Bryant, you were the recipient of this email, and you forwarded it to me, and I talked about it last week.
Briefly. So the email. So Witsit, and I can't see anything, so I'm just seeing your icon here. Can you see me or?
No.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So the email, I got this, well, you've already done a whole video on it, so I got a surprise email, as you know, but in the follow-up emails, Witsit sent me what you just showed, and so I just did a video, which a lot of you guys have seen, and I kept pushing Witsit to show the math. I sent him like 6 or 7 or 8 emails, and he kept deflecting and saying, read the Maze paper. And
so
he just wouldn't.
For people wondering, it's Mace or Meis, MEIS. It's a paper proposing a relationship between gravity and electromagnetism. It's just a hypothesis, but Witsit can't stop talking about it. If you've heard him talk in the last week, you've heard him talk about it. It's his favorite thing.
So I think he did just a chat GPT on equate, I don't know, some artificial intelligence algorithm, equate Newton's law of gravity with electrostatics, because it's just a bunch of nonsense what you were looking at, right? And so I kept pushing him. It's like he said he'd admitted the math was wrong. And he's like, well, I'm like, Witsit, you sent this to me. So I have the right to ask you, where is it wrong? Because you're the one that sent it to me. And he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't go through and tell me where it was wrong. He just said, read the mice or the mace paper.
Yeah, you kept asking him, and eventually it's like, it's in the paper.
It's in the paper. And then he just, and he wouldn't, and I mean, I literally, I kid you not, 7 emails, because we were talking about other things too, but I would always bring that up in every single one. And so yeah, in the maze paper, I really went through that in my last video that I did. And electron neutrino, if you look at the first pinned comment, did an excellent. I wish I had that before the video, but if you haven't seen that, read that too, because it totally even further debunks that paper.
So
just really good detail.
If somebody can grab DFE's most recent video on this, your video was fantastic.
Oh yeah, thank you. I put a lot of time into that because, again, Witsit, he really got me going with all of his talk, all of his grandiose, narcissistic talk. He kept saying, this paper dunks on you, admit you were wrong, Bryant, admit you were wrong. And he just, all that talk, I'm out of your league, all this type of, he likes to use that one with me. It's like, oh, I'm so out of your league here, Bryant. You're just so out of your depth type of thing. And it's
and that, all of that talk goes back to what? Grandiose narcissism.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, I mean, he says he's so good at math, but he won't do it. And then like that one little clip you said, people say I can't, it's like, well, we make fun of you about math because you won't do it.
Yeah.
And whenever you do try to do it, you like with FTFE, with the link contraction formula, you Google the formula and that leaves out the operator signs of math, and then you just kind of regurgitate what you're seeing. You don't understand it.
Yeah.
And so this is why we make fun of you for not being able to do math with it, because you can't do it and you won't do it. And this is just algebra. This is not like complicated math just to show where it's, where the errors are.
What's in this paper, or not this paper, this thing here that ChatGPT got wrong, because ChatGPT isn't a math program. This is ninth grade. This is covered in ninth grade, this type of algebra. Seriously. Ninth grade math. Austin, you couldn't handle the ninth grade math that's in here to identify how wrong this was just by doing some cursory look. You saw not G equal 9.8 meters per second squared, and you're like, I got it. You didn't. It's all wrong.
But the big punchline was when you actually put in the right values for, 2 protons or protons diameter apart, you actually get that they're off by 10 to the 36 power. I mean, you actually use the right formulas, not try to equate with dividing by m and all that stuff that it was doing.
Yeah.
You simply take that problem with 2 protons and calculate the gravitational attraction, which does not include little g, which is formula. And then you calculated the electrostatic attraction or repulsion in that case. Or you can make an attraction with minus, just a minus sign. But the point is the forces end up being 10 to the 36 times different. And he's trying to tell me that you're equating, he's trying to equate them, right? But who is it that tells us that the electrostatic force is 10 to the 36 times stronger than gravity ever claims to be? Who said that over and over?
Whitsett says that constantly. It's one of his mantras.
Yeah.
But he doesn't understand how that came to be, or how to even check that himself, or what the implications are.
No, but in several emails, and I put this in the video, I highlighted it. He sent me, look how it shows that f of v equals f of g, Bryant. And then I email him back. I'm like, Witsit, how many times, more times than I can count, have you told me, that the electrostatic force is 10 to the 36 times stronger than gravity? And here you are saying, look, this paper shows f of v equals f of g. That's 10 to the 36 times wrong. It's not even close. And he's like, he's
the one that says it.
Yeah, he's got 160 IQ.
For reference, he does not. But for reference, when you take the repulsion between 2 protons, right, with no electrons there, just 2 protons, a certain distance apart, and the gravitational attraction between those same 2 protons, the same distance apart. That's where you just apply Coulomb's law and gravitational law, and you'll get the 10 to 36 differential.
Almost exactly. I'm like, wow, this is almost exactly 10 to 36
yeah.
times.
But the thing that Witsit isn't even bright enough to understand is that this is only when there's no electrons there. If there's electrons orbiting those protons, in other words, hydrogen atoms, the electrostatic force between those two, when they're the same distance apart, it doesn't actually matter because the distances cancel, is zero. Exactly zero. Not about zero, exactly zero, because the charge of an electron is negative.
Yeah.
The charge of a proton, positive. Exactly. He actually, the other day, he was talking to somebody about neutrons, and he's like, neutrons will never have exactly zero charge. Like, yeah, they do. They absolutely have exactly zero charge. He doesn't even get that. So,
yeah.
All right. So that's this one. I have a bunch more. So Bryant, I'll get back to, let's see. Oh no, I have this here. I want to show this. This is, while you're here, Bryant.
Yeah.
He's done a series called Schooling Globers. He's done 7 of them so far. And I described this series as pretentious, arrogant, and prideful. Because Austin, you are in no position to school us. You don't understand these things. You've read things. Your experiences with ChatGPT, I think, are so on point, because ChatGPT doesn't understand what it's doing. You ask it a question, it gives a facade of understanding what it's talking about, but it's just a program, and it's designed to make it look like conversations that it has been taught, and that's what it does. And Whitsett crafts his claims and his talks as if it looks like he knows what he's talking about. So these 7 pretentious videos where he's getting things wrong and sprinkling in some correct things, because a good liar does that. You have to have a smattering of truth. So that's what he does. These 7, and they're so wrong. In the 7th one, we'll get to that, one of the claims he made. I'm not going to spoil it now, but it's ridiculous watching them, because here's how it actually works on Flat Earth. What he's trying to do here is he's saying, here's what your paradigm is. You'll hear him talk about your paradigm all the time. He talks about that paper that he sent as being your paradigm. Like, no, Austin, the paradigm that we use is on the other side of empirical evidence. This paper that I talked about last week, Bryant talked about at length in his video, is completely hypothetical. And it says that right in the paper. There's no empirical evidence for it. Our paradigm includes empirical stuff, not yet another hypothesis. And there's many of them. Until it's been empirically confirmed, it's not part of the paradigm. So, all right. I will, let's see. I have this. Look at that. It's you and me on the screen right now, Bryant.
Yeah, we were the topic of a couple of his schooling clovers.
So, Austin, you're not schooling us. Just
no,
so you know.
He wasn't schooling us. We were just the featured.
Yeah. So, all right. Here is his grandiose. How grandiose. Oh, just listen.
In episode 3, the first 3. So right now we're covering their misconceptions and their scripts and their talking points, so you'll know how to rebut it. In episode 3, we will be really breaking down exactly what goes on with relativity. I'll be showing you all the writings, all the quotes. I'll be giving you visualizations of Michelson-Morley. It will be like a class. Okay.
It will be like a class. Austin, you're not smart enough.
Here, just integrate it.
So
How dare you? Austin's so arrogant he thinks he can teach relativity. And I will admit that even I do not fully understand relativity.
there you get the arrogance that at the end, when he says, and I've brought it up before, when he said, even I don't fully get relativity. He is so confident in his knowledge of relativity that he says, even I, as if he is the one that knows it better than basically everybody else. The problem is, Witsit, you've not actually read any of the general relativity papers. And the reason why I know that is because, Austin, you think, let me get this here, you think this is Einstein's treatment of relativity. This is a book he wrote called Relativity, the Special and General Theory. Witsit quotes from this constantly. This is not the theory of relativity. The theory of relativity was posted in primarily 4 papers in the year before he wrote this. Witsit didn't read any of those papers. This doesn't include the treatment of Einstein's field equations. It has a few equations. It talks about Lorentz contraction and a few things in here. You know, not a lot of math, but a little. And so it's a good introductory thing for somebody. You know, it's designed for it. He actually calls it in the foreword, in the preface that Einstein wrote. He says it's a good. It is. I have purposefully treated the empirical physical foundations of this theory in a stepmotherly fashion. This is a stepmotherly treatment of relativity, Austin, and this is all you know about it. You don't know relativity. This book didn't teach you relativity. That's elsewhere. So even I don't fully understand it is pompous, arrogant, pretentious. Of course you don't understand it. You don't understand hardly any of it. How pompous. How much of an ass can you be, Austin? It just gets bigger. Here is Witsit with here's Witsit with PhD Tony, and PhD Tony is about to ask him. It's a little hard to pick out. PhD Tony is asking Witsit, who is smarter than you? A simple question. For somebody that is not the smartest, doesn't think they're the smartest person in the world, you definitely could list off a whole bunch of people that are smarter than you. But look at the struggle. Just watch the struggle. The struggle is real. Ken Wheeler's nonsense. Ken Wheeler gets to say whatever he wants and you gobble it up. It's just nonsense.
No, it's not. That's not even the reason.
Empirical backing for any of the garbage he says. It's perfect.
Calm
Thank
down.
you.
So
I
actually went and read people like Charles Proto Steinmetz. You've never
bragging.
read them. You couldn't read
Doesn't
them.
matter. You couldn't read them. Bragging.
And
Doesn't
I've
matter.
read people.
Can you name 10
Charles
people
Proto.
who are smarter and better informed than you? 10.
10 people that are what?
Smarter and better informed than you.
Do they have to still be alive?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, there's all kinds of people. It depends on what we're talking about. There's all kinds of people. Like, I would say Ken Willer's smarter, more informed than me when it comes to magnetism. Bob's more informed with electricity than I am.
No, he's not. Oh, he's stupid. Oh
Which
my gosh.
Bob?
Bob Nodell. He's an absolute idiot.
Bob Nodell. Bob Nodell is smarter and better informed than you are.
I said regarding electricity.
True. I'll give that to yep. But he's an idiot. He did not come up with any people other than those two. And both of them are blindingly stupid. I think Ken Wheeler must know that he's just making crap up. Right? He must. He has to. That's it. That's who he thinks is smart. Right. I will. Yep, I will. Sure, maybe they are smarter than you. You're not that smart, Austin, and so it's not actually difficult to find people smarter than you. But that's what you did. That's what you did. So there's that. Now, that's about his grandiosity, right? A bunch of examples of that. And now we switch over to the treatment of him being a pathological liar. I've said it before to you, Austin. You are a pathological liar. You have a real problem. You won't acknowledge it. Pathological liars don't. You actually believe your lies. Now, if you care about the people in your life, you will seek help for it, because it's not just here in this flat earth, globe earth thing. That's who you are, Austin. Right? However you got to where it is, something happened to you. But that's where you are now. And it will affect your relationships. You are rather new into one particular important relationship. It will come back. And so I will say, if anybody finds themselves in a relationship with Witsit, with Austin, and things stop making sense, you start identifying patterns of, this doesn't make sense, and you ask him, and you get a change in the story. That's a sign when the story changes. When you get diversion, what about this? Oh, no, this other thing. That's a sign. Pay attention to those signs. It's not hard to find things online that describe this and shows you the signs to look for. Pay attention to them. It's real. It will affect you more as time goes on. And it's very important to stress this. One of the sign, I covered it early. One of the signs that they do is they play victim and they blame the other person. They turn it around on them instead of addressing it. Right? They don't address it. They like, oh no, it's you. It's somebody else. It's that person. You're doing it. If just like the child, it's like you're supposed to do this as a child. This is your responsibility. Oh, but my brother didn't do that either. It doesn't matter. Stay on topic. The topic is you did something wrong. Own that and focus on that in this conversation. He does this diversion, this blaming other people thing all the time. So this is about lying. Now we go back to this right here. I'm going to read to you briefly before this. I'm going to read to you briefly from chapter 16 here, where Einstein says, we refer to the yearly movement of the apparent position of the fixed stars resulting from the motion of the earth round the sun, aberration, and to the influence of the radial components of the relative motions of the stars with respect to the earth on the color of light reaching them. This is Einstein's explanation for how we know that the earth is rotating around the sun. Einstein admits that he can prove, if you will, Witsit loves that word, so that's your word. Einstein admits that he can prove that the earth rotates around or orbits around the sun. Right there, he spoke to them. He spoke to them, directly spoke to them. And now we have Witsit lying about that.
And then they said I cherry picked the equation, saying
He says he keeps saying equation. I think he means citation. Not a problem there, just so you know, for reference.
experiment can detect the motion of the earth. Cherry picking is when you take a quote, you take it out of context, and you say it's meaning one thing, but when you read it in context, it actually says the opposite of what you're saying. You're like, that's what you did. Because at the end of the equation, it says, though the earth goes around the sun. Well, no one said, look, here's the quote from Einstein that proves the Earth is stationary. No one said that. No one said Einstein thinks the Earth is stationary. Everyone knows he thought that the Earth was revolving around the sun. What is said is, here's Einstein saying, you can't actually detect and prove that the Earth is moving. So it's not cherry picking, regardless of what it says at the end, because it's invoked to explain that he said you can't actually prove that the Earth is moving, even though he believed it was.
Something that Witsit just is so.
So clearly, Einstein agrees with himself that that there are measurements of Earth rotating around the sun. This was written in 1916. He can prove it. Witsit's word. He can prove it right there, right there. So Witsit just lied about what Einstein said. And here is, I have the dates on here. This is Bryant Myers here, who is addressing him. Now, I'm very certain, I have high confidence that Witsit watched this because he responded to it.
Stuck on it, he just can't seem to get it. And funny enough, he reads this chapter 16, again, on all three of these Schooling Globers shows, he goes through this, he basically says the same quotes over and over. All he's got is quotes. He doesn't understand the math. He doesn't understand relativity. I mean, the fact he doesn't know what K and K prime is just laughable. But even from this chapter that he's reading from here, Einstein talks about stellar aberration, about the orb around the sun. So Einstein's acknowledging right in the chapter, if anybody gets this book, just to see what Witsit is talking about, it's Relativity, the Special and General Theory, page 62 to 67 is what Witsit's constantly reading. And it's right here. We refer to the yearly movement of the apparent position of the fixed stars resulting in the motion of the Earth around the sun. And this is aberration. And due to the influence of radial components of relative motions of the fixed stars with respect to the Earth and the color of the light reaching us from them, redshift and Doppler type of effects we can use to see that we're orbiting as well. So Witsit just keeps reading this here. And since then I've come to believe that the motion of the Earth cannot be detected by any optical instrument. But Witsit always loves to leave this part off, though the Earth is revolving around the sun. And only because of MC Toon and people like him keep pointing it out that he cherry picks that, he finally is now putting it in. But again, it's not helping his case because Einstein's basically saying, though, the Earth is revolving around the sun. And Einstein was talking about optical experiments like the Michelson-Morley experiment. He wasn't talking about other ways that you can measure the orbit of the Earth around the sun. He was just saying that these type of optical experiments will not measure the Earth's orbit around the sun. That you use other things like stellar aberration, parallax.
Here's him talking about it. Since then, I've come to believe that the motion of the Earth cannot be detected by any optical experiment, though the Earth is.
So it's important to note the date here.
Revolving around the sun. It's him admitting he believes it but can't prove it.
There it is. No, it's not. It's not him admitting he believes it but can't prove it. He already addressed it years before.
So Einstein's acknowledging right in the chapter, it's right here, we refer to the yearly movement of the apparent position of the fixed stars resulting in the motion of the Earth around the sun. And this is aberration. And due to the influence of radial components of relative motions of the fixed stars with respect to the Earth and the color of the light reaching us from them.
Though the Earth is revolving around the sun, it's him admitting he believes it but can't prove it.
So no, it's not him. And the timeline of that is important. You could maybe take his ignorance, right? Though he's quite certain of his of his knowledge of this book. When he's schooling us, you don't get to be ignorant. You need to actually know your stuff when you're schooling us, right? You're not schooling us, obviously. You didn't understand it. You didn't pay attention to it. You didn't know it. You didn't school anybody. You were ignorant of it at best. At worst, you knew about it and intentionally left it off. But after Bryant addressed it to you, and you mentioned that, you brought it up again. Pathological liar. Because See, you did it, Austin, because you know that your audience, the people that you are tailoring your words for, will not check you. You're very confident in that. And you're right, they won't check you. The flat earthers won't verify that what you said was true. Right? And that's why I'm here, right? I did this. Bryant did this. This is actually Bryant. Bryant found this. And we talked about it at, you know your audience. You should know your audience, but you know that your audience will never check you. That's the thing. It's so deceptive of you. So deceitful of you. All right. And now we get to, I think, the big thing here. This is Witsit's lies here. 4 of them. There's more. One of them I just added today. We're going to go with number 1 here. Number 1, I'm going to go over all of them, but number 1, this is the big one, and it goes back to Bryant. So this right here on the screen is the email that he sent Bryant. And Bryant is still here, so we can pop in a little bit. But it's important to know this. I covered it last week, and in last week, I thought, well, maybe somebody was punking him. Maybe somebody generated these and sent them to him as a fake to make him look silly. Now, that's what I said in the video. You can go watch that video to see what I said. I did not think that Austin generated them to slam dunk on somebody or to show, oh, all these things support me. I didn't think that. I never said that. Austin claimed I said that. We'll get to that in a little bit. But it's important that all 7, there's 7 of these citations, 6 of them have links. All 6 links are DOI links. DOI links do not expire. The point of a DOI link is you have a journal where you've published a paper, right? A journal has a whole bunch of papers on there. And the URL to those papers might change when they revamp their site or something like that. So DOI is a redirection place. So you give a DOI link, doi.org hosts that, and you can update your DOI link onto your website for all of your stuff when a location changes. DOI links don't go bad unless there's a severe problem with the journal, right? They go out of business or something like that. But in general, DOI links do not change. They always work. I don't know if I've ever found a DOI link that was dead. So it's important to know that DOI links don't go bad. Another thing, and I covered this last week in detail, it's still on my website. If you look up some Witsit citations, I went in every single one of these 7 citations, went to the DOI link, searched for the particular title, and I looked at the journal volume page numbers. None of them match, right? So if you see here on the right side, this top one says 777-786, right? That's the page numbers. If you look at that actual journal, there is no article that matches 777 to 786. It doesn't exist. There is another article overlapping that section, but it's not the same. So it's not the same article. It's not a similar title. It's not by the same people. It doesn't match the same page range. It is interesting, though. Most of these people actually do have publications in those associated journals. So wherever they came from, they were real people that did them. So he did this. He sent that to Bryant, and Bryant emailed him back and forth a couple times, and that's in Bryant's video as well. And I covered it a little bit last week. But after this video went out, some people said that's exactly what ChatGPT does. I said, oh, I didn't know. I've never tried to get ChatGPT to make any to find some citations. So I tested it, and yes, indeed, it does generate links just like that. So here, when Bryant was but Bryant asked why they were in a disordered mess. Austin's response was, I think I had them get all mixed up. It's a mess. And it's right here. Bryant sent me all the emails. And Bryant, when you sent them to me, what did I say?
What did you say? I can't remember.
I said, were they from Gleam?
Oh, right.
And you asked Witsit, did Gleam give you those because it's way off in left field? And it was an absolute mess. He says, I got them all mixed up. But it's important that you actually look at what he said. He said, I have finally tracked down these papers about thunderstorms affecting gravimeters. Who did it? I did it, Witsit says. Gravimeter readings and downward acceleration rates. But most of them are behind paywall or institutional access. Now, it is easy to click the links because he emailed the links. All you need to do is just click on them and see whether or not they're behind paywalls or require institutional access. In fact, none of them. If you click the link on any of those 6 links, you would find out that none of them go anywhere. There's no institutional access. There's no paywall involved. They're bad links. The last couple actually do exist, but they're not to similar articles, right? This one says the effect of lightning on relative gravity measurements, but the actual article says a preliminary secular variation reference curve for archaeological dating in Austria. Not even related. So did he want to get this particular paper about archaeomagnetic dating in Austria and expect that it would be effects of lightning on relative gravimeters? No, I don't think he would actually think that that was a thing. So that doesn't make sense. Witsit's story is weird. He says, I think I got them mixed up. It's a mess. All right, well then what? What happened next? Well, they exchanged a few emails. Bryant responded, questioning again the source of the list. Witsit's response included, I sent you those papers after getting a lot of them mixed up on accident. Now, all 7 of them are exceedingly similar. All 7 of them were from ChatGPT. There was no mixing. The story remained the same, but this time the bulk of the email was diversion number 2. I won't go into it, but you can find this on my website. Again, he says, getting them mixed up on accident. And then, he does make assertions about what I did. Either he didn't watch the video and then made up a story about what I did, or he watched the video and then lied about what I did. One way or the other, he's lying about what I said in that video. And again, he knows he can do that in public because his people will never check him. Anyway, Bryant responded again by asking why Whitsett asked him to pay for access to the articles, because they don't even exist. Whitsett says, I did not ask you to pay for anything. What did you say to me, Bryant, when you first sent me the message?
What did I say to him? Well, I mean, I thought that he was like coming to me for wanting me to help him to pay for these articles because they're behind a paywall. But then he comes back and says, no, I thought you had access. And I'm like, he knew I haven't been teaching for like a long time, but in all fairness, he did say either or. It's behind a paywall, or maybe you have,
but that's not true, because if you click on any of the links, any of them, you'll find out immediately that it's not a problem of institutional access or paywall. They don't exist. Yeah. That's what happened.
Yeah. And I guess with PhD Tony papers too, he tried to make up some excuse with that.
Yeah, I get into that in a little bit. Anyway, so then I've already covered the algebra, but what follows is the most insane algebra I've ever seen. It's also diversion number 3. And his final sentence is projection number 1, where he says, so really it's just you that you're a narcissist. After that insane math, he actually, after that insane math, said that. It's baffling. There it is. The algebra is a masterpiece of wrongness. If he could do math, he wouldn't have said that.
Yeah. So,
Bryant, you looked at the math and you asked him if it was his final answer. I love that.
Yeah. Without even going through it, I could see, oh man, this is going to be bad.
Austin must have decided that he'd have a look at the math. He says it's wrong. Yeah, we noticed. Then he goes with diversion number 4. Here it is. I sent the wrong math. Oh, the wrong math. Certainly you have the right math somewhere then, right, Austin? All right, a couple emails went back and forth.
Read the Mace paper. That's the only answer.
I can't. There's no A in there. Why? I don't know why Mace.
I did a search for pronunciation. I mean, it's a Spanish name, and Google pronounced it Mace. So I.
All right. Well, I'll say Mace then.
There were different pronunciations in there.
Yeah, he lives in France.
Oh, is he in France? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's not from. Certainly, if he's in France, we're definitely getting the pronunciation wrong because theirs is very, very off. Anyway, they exchanged a couple emails, and you pressed him again, but here you got him to talk about the papers again. You even sent a link, or he sent a link to my page, and he's complaining. He's complaining because I held his feet to the fire. I mean, I told him I was going to hold his feet to the fire. So this is interesting. He goes, I reach out to you, blah, blah, try to expose me. I didn't try to expose you, Austin. That's this video. Last week, it wasn't an I said, something's weird. Somebody might be trying to punk you or prank. Anyway, he goes, I asked ChatGPT to help me track down numerous papers I could not find, many of which someone sent me. The story changed again. It was, I tracked them down and now someone sent them to him. You see, a story changing is a trait of a liar. And the links took me to dead links or other papers. Question mark? Yes, that's what they did. I got my list all mixed up because I had like dozens of paper all over my computer / Telegram piled up. Here's a couple more examples. This is a deflection, a diversion. I was trying to send you papers that I'd posted in Telegram asking people to help me get access to them. You didn't even check. You guys are now spinning some narrative about how I had ChatGPT make up papers. No, I didn't. I never mentioned ChatGPT in the video last week. It was in the comments afterwards that somebody brought it up, Austin. See, you're lying about what I said again. And did not even check them, tried to deceive people or something. No. What a joke. I reached out to you in confidence to see if you could help me find papers and accidentally sent you the wrong list. Sure you did. Because I was pasting papers everywhere. Oh, it's just a firestorm of pasting papers. That was the list I had yet to be able to verify. No kidding. I was posting. Yeah, well, okay. Was it the list that he had yet to verify? Okay, well, that story is the current story. Does it stay consistent? We shall see. I was posting them in my Telegram, asked for help. You guys never cease to amaze me. Like, MC Toon covered that one paper. It says it's mass attracts mass and has nothing to do with Earth being flat. Of course, that's the Mace paper again. The Mace paper has two main proposals. One talks about the equivalence or the foundation between gravity and electromagnetism, which of course is the whole point of the thing. And he's like, it's your paradigm. No, it's not. It's not empirically confirmed. And number two, he talks about gravity and mass attracting mass and matter repulsing antimatter as the cause of the expansion of the universe. Witsit. Toon's Law of Flirt number 1. That paper destroys flat Earth if you accept it as true. You dummy. Yeah. You absolute moron. It proposes a direct equivalence between Coulomb's law and law of gravitation. Actually, it doesn't. It proposes a relationship between Coulomb's law and what? You remember?
What?
Not the law of gravitation. The gravitational potential. It's a different formula. The gravitational potential is negative G M1, M2 over R, not R squared. You got a negative and you got an R, not R squared. The paper actually gets the sign wrong. So not a good thing for the paper. Certainly there was no peer review. But tell you what, Austin, let's accept that paper as true.
But
gravity exists and the universe is expanding. It doesn't help.
Let me just say this. I had 3 experts. Electron Neutrino pinned his comment, so it's okay I say his name. But read through what he says, because the people that do have the credentials to actually review these papers properly, they just destroy it pretty much. I mean, it is just riddled with mistakes and fundamental errors. So, like you said, even if somehow miraculously it was right, it's still, it's mass attracting mass and things are crushing into spheres. Yeah. It's a spiritually symmetric force.
There's 2 choices. The paper is good or the paper is bad. If the paper is good, mass attracts mass. If the paper is bad, you just ignore it. Neither of them help you, Witsit. All right. He says, you of course will have to deal with your own karma. Ya feels me?
Yes. Speaking of that, when we get to it.
Oh, all right. So anyway, this is back to my website here. This lie is getting exposed. He keeps changing it. Other people had started asking him about where he got the papers. This mostly happened on Discord. Ruhif sent me a little recording, but it didn't have Ruhif's voice on it, so it's not very useful. But it had Witsit, trying to run away from stuff. Well, I got one in a second. He's in too deep, though. He can't back out, so he goes on the offensive with story change number 3 and diversion number 4. You guys are now spinning some narrative. No, we're not. Anyway, but yes, Austin, that's exactly what you did, or somebody did. I've tested ChatGPT with several questions asking for citations on the effects of thunderstorms on gravimeters. And here it is. Give me links to sources on how severe weather affects gravimeters. And it gave me 5 with very similar titles to some of the things that that yours had, along with links. Right? That's 5 citations. Now here's an interesting thing. Austin lied. He did not track them down. He did not get them mixed up. They were not broken links. He asked ChatGPT, or maybe somebody else did, what's the name of this person? Piling on lies is the action of a pathological liar. And here we go. Monday, that'd be yesterday. David was on Discord server, and Zanuck was curious about those citations. This is story change number 4 and diversion number 5. So let me play that now.
And then the other papers, the gravitational effects, the gravitron's effects of lightning strikes, those papers that you brought up in McToon's, had a video, I guess, of that. And a lot of people are talking about that now. Where did you get those papers from? Because I was trying to do some research to find them, and I can't find them.
I'm not. So you're just trying to change the subject. So
while I had you here, I wanted to get a couple. Where did you get those papers from? Because I was looking at that's one I couldn't get.
Someone sent me some of the papers that I couldn't find links to. So I asked.
Someone sent me. Now he's going full in on someone sent me these papers.
Now he may have got them from ChatGPT or something. He hasn't responded to me.
He hasn't responded to you. Who is this person, Austin?
I found like 3 or 4 of them, 2 of which I had in my notes from a couple years ago.
Okay. Some of them were in his notes from a couple years ago. Really? Well, let's have a look then, Whitsett. There's too many here. Which one of these was in your notes, Whitsett, from a couple years ago? Was it thunderstorm effects on a relative gravimeter that doesn't exist? Was it effects of rain on the operation of superconducting gravimeters, Journal of Geodynamics, that doesn't exist? Was it rainfall effects on relative gravimeter that doesn't exist? Was it effects of lightning on relative gravimeters in the Czech Republic? That doesn't exist. Was it effects of lightning on... Anyway, 7 of them. I checked them all. None of them exist. So Witsit. Austin, you said that you found these, of these 7 that you sent to Bryant, you found them in your notes from a couple years ago. Which ones? You sent him 7. Which of them were in your notes from a couple years ago? Was that another lie, Austin? Did you pile a lie on top of a lie, on top of a lie, on top of a lie, on top of a lie when you get caught? I think that's what you did. I think that's what you did. Let's listen a little more.
And then he said he found some more. I went to try to find them. I couldn't find them. I then went to ChatGPT and asked if it could provide links. It was taking me to dead links and stuff, but ChatGPT's data only caps out at 2021. So I'm like,
2021. Well, let's check. Certainly these dates are all. That's probably why it's not there, because they're after 2021, right? Witsit? Well, let's look at it. Well, I mean, you know, the dates aren't 2021. They're 2006, 1998. They have the dates in these fake citations, 1989, right? Which ones? Which ones are post 2021? None of them, in fact. All of them are pre-2021. Well, that lie didn't work out.
I go, well, maybe these links used to be here. Maybe they changed the paper that's on this specific link or whatever.
DOI links, I covered earlier. Don't do that. And how could it be different pages of a journal? Journals don't go back and republish things. That's not how it works, Austin.
So I reached out to Brian Myers and said, so a lot of this maybe requires certain database access. I don't know if you have certain type of institutional access, because you used to be a professor where you could help me find these papers. And then McToon he sent it to McToon, and then McToon made a whole narrative that I asked ChatGPT to make up fake.
Now, I want to reiterate, never in that video did I say ChatGPT. I had no idea until afterwards. So Austin, why did you lie by claiming that I made up a narrative about you creating them in ChatGPT? If you watched the video, you would have known I didn't mention ChatGPT. If you didn't watch the video, why would you claim that I had some narrative that I made up? You lied again, Austin. You are a pathological liar. It's clear. It is absolutely obvious that you are a pathological liar, Austin. You pile lies on top of lies. You have a severe problem. It will affect you outside of this environment. Probably already has.
Fake paper, and then tried to slam on, act like I'm dunking on Bryant Myers with the papers that I didn't even open up or read because the links don't go to them, and all this weirdo stuff. So long story short, what we've discovered is ChatGPT has access to a lot of private databases, scientific databases that require certain institutional access. So whether the papers are real or not, I don't know. I think they are. I've checked it with many different AIs.
You checked it with many different AIs. You think they're valid? You mentioned right there, right at the top, from Austin. You see that? From Austin? That mctoon.net/Witsit citations. That page, I examined all 7 of those citations. All 7 of them are crap. None of them exist. Yet you claimed again that they exist. You also claimed that you checked other AIs. Which other AIs, Austin? Which AIs did you check other than ChatGPT for the existence of these 7 papers that don't actually exist? That was another lie. You couldn't have checked with other AIs because those papers do not exist. You can't make them exist, but you lied because you know that your followers will never check you. So you know you're safe in your lies.
Not just ChatGPT, and they all say it's a real paper. I don't think ChatGPT would make up a paper.
Yes, it does.
but it does appear that I don't know where else that guy would have got it other than asking ChatGPT. So he hasn't confirmed that, but I don't know. Anyway,
who's this guy? Austin. Who's the guy? Listen, your story has changed multiple times. First it was you got them. Now it's this guy. You're shifting the blame to somebody else. Another trait that I examined earlier. What's the name of the guy? Who is it? Let's go ask him. Where did you get them? Who is it? Does this guy even exist, or did you invent him as a get out of jail free card? Another lie. I don't know. Certainly something's wrong. You first claimed that you got them. Now you're claiming there's somebody else. There's a lie in there. Does this guy exist? Did you actually ask him? Well, just tell us his name, right? If he's sending you stuff from ChatGPT, that's fake. He's not your friend. You don't need to defend him. He's punking you. You see, you don't need to protect his anonymity. Just out him. Here's the name of the person. It was this guy, and he's screwing with me. He's making me look bad, you should say, Austin. Name him. Who is it? You won't? I know you won't, Austin. The reason why you won't is because he doesn't exist, right? These 7 papers. Now, don't divert. These 7 papers is the topic. Not some other papers. The 7 papers that you sent Bryant, 2 or 3 of which you claimed you had in your notes from previously, and now you've changed the story that it's some other guy. Don't talk about other papers. These 7 papers.
long story short, 5 of the links I couldn't find, I sent to Brian Myers, and
7, not 5.
They made up this whole lie narrative, a whole video, blah, 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 because they're losers. So
again, he lied about what we said, about what I said.
Oh, and then, yeah, I found like 3 of the links myself, which I've already dropped them. And that's pretty much what happened. So, and what's even funnier, it's like one of the papers that ChatGPT did give me about seismology, I sent it to, what's his name? PhD Tony. And so if you try to look it up, you can't find it. Right.
If you try to look it up, you can't find it? Well, there's another claim, Austin. What paper? If ChatGPT did give you a real one and if you look it up, you can't find it. Well, I've actually never had a case where I couldn't go to Google and just put in quotes the name of the title of the paper. It always comes up. You could go to Google Scholar and look them up there. I've never had a problem with that. Are you not able to type that in, copy paste? Oh, you're good at copy paste into the Google search bar? I think that's another lie. Could be. Maybe not. Let's see, Austin. You show that.
Right. You can only find like an excerpt, but like PhD Tony immediately had access to it. So which goes to show you that since he's a seismologist, maybe he has some type of access, or he searches up academic papers, that he is able to find a paper that if you Google it, you can't find it. But of course, we got a bunch of anti-flat earthers that are like, oh, if you Google it, you can't find it. Then Whitsett made it up. He's trying to deceive people. He's a liar. All this weird stuff.
True. Yeah. Basically, all that is true. I don't know. Did you make it up? Did you do it knowing that ChatGPT? See, I think you typed it into ChatGPT, right? Did you do it intentionally to say, oh, haha, no, I think that you actually wanted to go get the papers, but you didn't actually do the footwork. You didn't do anything. This other guy doesn't exist. You just lie. It's all just lies on lies on lies.
A quick pass. I couldn't find it either, but those 3 papers you found the links for, which through those?
Zanuck. This is Zanuck talking. The 3 papers you did find. Well, what are those? Listen to Austin.
So go grab them, but I'm not talking.
I guess I'll go grab them, but I'm not talking about that. Now, here comes diversion.
Talking about that. So what I'm talking about is anyone with common sense knows that if you see rays that are diverging from the horizon, and then you see them diverging from the other horizon.
He's going on to another topic. I can science that says Witsit got punked. There is some other guy. Okay. Then who? What's this guy's name? So, I totally believe that it could be. I think Witsit did that, but I can accept that it could be another guy. What's the guy's name? Witsit. That's what I just tell me the guy's name. If you got punked, he's not your friend. Out him. Out him. So I can science that if you know he got punked, you know detail, please. I'd love to know. Oh, there he says hi. Yeah, I want to know who punked Witsit so I can congratulate him. I don't know. I think that he did it himself. But yeah, and that was the first thing I said last week. Like, if somebody's punking him, well done. You know what happened here? What happened here is whether he did it himself or whether somebody else punked him or pranked him on this. What it did is it shows the lies, because neither story, right? In either story, it's lies, right? Because he first said that he got them all. Then later, somebody else sent them to him. Well, it can't be both. One of those two stories is a lie. Must be. Can't be both. So, all right. Now this is the main one. This is the one that really, for me, showed the depth of how much of a pathological liar Witsit is. Right now we know, and it's weird, we just kind of accept it, right? We say gotta lie to Flurf. Because we know, because flat earth is lies, right? But it shows that it damages the person, and I think probably maybe Witsit came to this damaged already, but other people, maybe they come into it being honest, but eventually they get to the point where they just have to lie and lie and lie, right? And it's the same thing. In order to cover up a lie, you have to lie again, right? Lie number one, earth flat. That's the first lie. And then everything after that is another lie. It's just this long sequence of lies. You see people saying you can't make a rainbow indoors. Well, of course you can. Here's a video of a person making a rainbow indoors. Oh, well, here comes another lie about rainbows indoors. And there's something happening here. How does it work? Don't know. Doesn't matter. Just reject it. PhD Tony says superconducting gravimeters are sensitive to pick up low and high pressure systems, so they respond to storms, but entirely due to change in mass distribution, nothing more. In very true, and I will note that on this one right here, these two papers, I don't know why he listed the same one paper twice, just with different links to it. None of them are DOI links. They all have DOI links. But anyway, on the influence of intense thunderstorm activity and high precision gravimeter operations. And PhD Tony, you are 100% correct. That is what that particular paper talks about. It says that the downward acceleration had a slight reduction of like 3 mgals when the thunderstorms were overhead, because there's more mass above the gravimeter. Counteracting the downward acceleration of 3 milligals is not much. Very precise measurement. Was it 3 or was it nano? I don't know. Very small. All right. So let's move on. This one here concerns Bryant. So all right, let me clear off some of my tab. I got too many tabs. So many tabs. So here it is, number 2. The rest of these won't take as long. Is this the one? Yeah, all right. So Bryant is still here.
Yep.
Let's see. When Witsit debated Professor PhD Tony, somebody asked why he doesn't talk nonsense about special relativity anymore. During the answer, he claims that Bryant Myers quit making videos and fell off the face of the earth because Witsit was completely correct, he says. Weird.
I dropped that link in the message if you want to play that clip. No.
Yeah, I have. Let's see. I didn't put it in here.
It's really worth watching because it just drives the point home, and I'll explain the real story.
Yeah. All right. Give me a second here. Because I did, let me see if this is the right video. I think this is not the right video. Yeah. I got a clip of it, but I didn't put it in here, so I'll grab yours. Oh, is this, yeah, this looks like it's just.
They say to Witsit, why don't you push the length contradiction nonsense anymore? Is it because you've been exposed to it?
Yeah, that's the one.
Is it because you've been exposed in yet another lie?
Okay. Actually, all the people that exposed me, like FTFE, MC Toon, they got thoroughly dismantled. Bryant Myers, right, the professor of physics, has fell off the face of the earth and stopped doing YouTube about flat earth. He actually emailed me about it. It's because I was completely correct, and length contraction is needed to explain the fringe shift that was missing relative to the sun, and all the globers think I'm talking about relative to the earth itself because they don't understand it. So what I actually said about it is exactly what Einstein said about it in his 2015 and 16 published paper called The Special and General Theory of Relativity. And it is that the apparatus contracted just the right amount. That objects in motion contract, but you can't tell from that reference frame. You have to be outside that reference frame to notice. It contracted just the right amount to make the Earth look like it's stationary, and you just happen to not be able to detect that the Earth's in motion. I didn't stop bringing it up for any other reason other than I like to talk about a variance of subjects, and it seemed the globers were just bleeding out on the ground regarding that, so I just kind of gave them a break.
All right, so yeah, he did say 2015, 2016. He misspoke, not the point. He meant 1915 and 1916. But let me make it clear. This is what he's talking about. This is not his paper.
Right.
This is his mass publication book for stepmothers. That's what this isn't the papers. The papers I have linked on my website under mc2.net/relativity, the four main ones here. On the general theory of relativity, addendum, explanation of the perihelion motion of Mercury from the general theory of relativity, and the field equations of gravitation. Now, Austin, maybe you want to go over the, I didn't have them on screen. Maybe you want to go over these. Maybe this is what you actually should do here. I mean, go ahead, Austin. Go ahead. They're here. Go ahead. This is Einstein's paper on the theory of general relativity, but that's not the important part. That's not the point of this particular thing. And I'm going to let Bryant explain it a little more detail here.
So you went the story about what he said about me leaving, right? Because I felt that we really thoroughly destroyed him in relativity. It was the other way around. He was bleeding out, and he stopped talking about it because we pummeled him so hard about him not understanding relativity. But just to be clear, I have the emails.
It's up on screen right now.
Okay, yeah. So before that email, just for clarity, I was going to go on his show on January 3rd, okay? And we were planned to have a conversation about relativity. And I agreed as long as it's a conversation and we can keep it, civil. It's not a debate. And so he emailed me back, and this is what he said. And I said, are we going to still talk? This is on Sunday. I'm emailing him on Sunday, January 1st. I said, basically, are we going to still talk on Tuesday? And he said, as for the conversation being on this coming Tuesday, I think next week would be a better idea because my family's coming to town. So he canceled because of the family and his baby. It's understandable. So, I mean, I'm not holding that against him because he just had a baby. His family's coming in town. It's like, okay. But I couldn't do it the next week. That wasn't clear. So in between all of this happening, I have these business opportunities come up, and all these things kind of changed in my life. And I emailed him back what you're seeing now. When he finally said, well, I got a date, he said a date. Will this date work, Brian? So I'm emailing him back here saying it's not because I'm going to have to, pass for a while because I have a new business venture, which I do. And then just for clarity, that just to show that I'm not like admitting that Whitsett was right, it's the opposite. I gave a really good, like three paragraph sort of summary of why he's wrong, and it's nothing. So he basically has some people in his comments on his video saying, yeah, Witsit, you made DFE, you basically made him retire because of how well they're basically making it sound like Witsit was the one that drove me out of debunking flat earth. I just ran away because of him, right? And it's just a total lie. And the thing is he knows that because I sent him this email and explained to him my situation. So what he just said at the end of the Q&A with PhD Tony's debate, where he just got pummeled and he just got totally destroyed, it was just that he knows it's a lie, because I sent him this email and I put this in his face a little bit after I saw that, and he wouldn't even apologize or even admit that he made a mistake. He just totally ignored what I said about that and just, I don't know, just made it like a narcissist. He made it all about himself, that I'm the one in the wrong. And so he's coming to be as some kind of like, bro, here, look at these citations. Can you help me out and get these citations that might be behind a paywall? But you know what he was doing, I think? He was wanting me, this is one point that he just wanted me to admit that I was wrong. So I think there's a subtle undercurrent of me me looking at these papers just to prove that, or to admit that I was wrong about the thunderstorms, right? But I don't know for sure. But like, why is he emailing me 3 months of no communication, out of the blue, sending me these jumbled up links? I still don't understand why he did it. I mean, what's his motivation there? And then I didn't realize that he said what he said about me leaving until somebody pointed it out in the comments on the video I just did. And sure enough, I looked it up. It's like, I can't believe this guy. Why would he say that about me leaving, like as if he was the one responsible for me leaving Debunking Flat Earth? Isn't that how it came across to what you just heard?
Oh yeah.
Like I'm just kind of acknowledging he was right, and that's like, you know what, Witsit, you're right. I'm going to just go do something else. It's nothing of the sort. The last words I had to him was debunking his whole position on relativity, showing him how he was wrong and how he basically destroyed his point, because he does not understand length contraction fundamentally in relativity, right? And there's no need to get into that because we've talked about it so much.
He thinks when Einstein said in this book, not the paper, that Lorentz saved the hypothesis, it's about Aether. He saved the Aether hypothesis, but he applies it to relativity. Wrong. So
yeah. So anyway, so we're pretty much not talking anymore. He basically said there's no point communicating anymore, because I'm just kind of putting all this stuff in his face, and he just has cut me off now. He's not answering emails anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, you asked him multiple times to produce the correct math. He never did.
Yeah. And I questioned him also. I asked him multiple times, show me how this Mace paper applies to your model of incoherent dielectric acceleration. And he did not want to talk about incoherent at all. He just said, look at the paper. You're straw manning me. It's like, I'm not straw manning you, Whitsett. You're a flat earther. If you can't show how this paper applies to your model of incoherent dielectric acceleration, what's the point? Because his paper, even if right, as we said, everything still crushes into a sphere beyond the potato radius type of situation. So it's like he wouldn't respond to that. It wasn't about defending flat earth at all. It was about him being right and me being wrong, and admitting that I am wrong, and conceding that you're right, Which that I was wrong all along. That's what he wanted from me. He said, then I'll forgive you. He said that, just admit you were wrong, Brian.
Forgive you for what? For being right and him wrong.
It had nothing to do about defending flat earth at all. He didn't even want to talk about flat earth. It's like he just wants to be right, and it's just like, my gosh. I mean,
and that goes back to being a narcissist. He just wants to be right, and so he loses focus of all of this started because he thinks the Earth is flat, right?
Sure.
Lie, Earth flat, lie. Gravity fake, lie. Incoherent electromagnet or whatever. More lies.
Yeah.
Oh, look, this paper says that gravity and electromagnetism are related. Okay. Yeah. And he's like, he forgot about the necessity that it all has to support flat Earth. And if you bring it up to him, you say, this paper doesn't support flat Earth. It contradicts flat Earth. It's like, well, that's not the point. What is it then?
Exactly.
How does this help you? It doesn't.
Yeah, he wouldn't. He kept just saying straw man. It's like that. It's like, just look at the paper. Just admit that Coulomb's law is equal to Newton's law. It's like, what's it? And he just wanted. So it's like, okay, I'll do that, and I did that with the last video I did.
Yeah,
but
a great video.
At the end of the day, it doesn't help incoherent dielectric acceleration, even if it's right, as you and I know. And I think the reason he doesn't talk about incoherent dielectric acceleration much anymore is because we so thoroughly destroyed it, and some other people also.
It doesn't stand up to any test.
It's so easy you can just debunk it in your sleep. It's just with lightning storms and Carnegie curve and Faraday cages. I mean, just simple things you can debunk that with. It's just so, I don't know how people can believe that nonsense, but.
All right. Well, let me move on. I got two more, but Bryant, thank you for popping in.
I'm glad I could just kind of, after I saw that, I appreciate you letting me kind of get the real story out and why I took this 3 months off, because I really have been busy, and I'm starting 2 businesses. So as much as I love doing this, I just, I don't really make any money doing it. It's been terrible since you've left. Since you've been gone, it's almost as bad as when you were here. No, wait, hold on. That's a Weird Al song. Brian, I was back on, as I can.
I was even though it's this goofy situation, I was really glad to get an email back from you. Thank you, and I'm glad to talk to you again, and hopefully we didn't stop. I mean, we exchanged messages almost weekly anyway. So all right. Well, thank you for that. I have 2 more to go, and then I'm going to wrap it up. So thank you, Bryant. All right, we've got. Let me pop the stack. We got number 3. Let's see. Number 3 is, I already covered it. Mostly it's his lies about what I said in the video, and I don't need to play it again, but I'll read it. Man, McToon's took a set to McToon. Then McToon made a whole narrative that I made. I asked ChatGPT. I never said that. That's a lie. All right. I covered that enough. I embedded that. And then the final one here today, this one, again, this is how easy it is to challenge Witsit, to get him to lay down lies on top of lies. On the 31st of March, Witsit aired the pretentiously named Schooling Globers 7, where he spoke about celestial navigation in the comments section. Here's the link to it, right? So if you want, you can jump in the comments section and ask him to support his claims. That link goes right to the comment where he asked the question. So entangled mind cells. Thank you for this. He sent me a message. So ask this question. So then you agree celestial navigation that has worked for centuries is garbage. So he was talking about celestial navigation. Whitsett then made a powerful claim of specificity. Even if you know Whitsett, you'll know he likes using that word. Let me see if I can find something of him saying that word. It's coming. It's loading. Oh my goodness. It would have been much better if it played immediately.
You make a positive claim of specificity, you have the burden of proof of specificity.
There it is. He made a positive claim of specificity, which is, this is literally how we created the celestial navigation construct, azimuthal grid coordinates. The hell are you talking about? And it hasn't worked for centuries. It consistently does not work far south. He is very specifically claiming that celestial navigation does not work far south. Well, that would be easy for you to support your claim if that was a true thing, wouldn't it? So I commented. He didn't answer me. But here, this is where, and I really pressed him. Because I through this, I have realized, I've learned about Witsit. So on the Discord server, the Earth Awakenings Discord server, today, I asked him to support his claims. Instead of supporting his claims, he lied and diverted. Now, this is important for you to remember the different things that we talked about earlier, specifically here it is. Victim blaming and playing the victim, lying to look better, putting others into defense mode, and deflecting. Be on the lookout for those things as we go through this interchange here. I asked him, I didn't get that screen. Oh, there it is. There's a, scroll off. There it is. I asked him, what's his claim of specificity? I didn't put them all in. There's way too many. This literally how we created, right? I already read that. He says, you said you didn't believe that was a real document. That's not to me. Then it shows real one, right? And I said, now changing the story to declination. So he had sent, some people had already been asking him. He had sent some citations about documents talking about magnetic declination, not about celestial navigation. Very different things, both part of navigation. But celestial navigation is looking at things in the sky, stars, sun, moon, planets. Not looking at your compass and reading the magnetic and having it be affected by declination, therefore being wrong. Totally different topic. But he had posted some of them, and I have the link down there before. But then he's changing the story to declination. Then he's, watch what he's doing here. I'm not changing anything. That was the specific quote you're talking about. MC Toon is being dishonest. I don't know about you guys, but I'm utterly shocked. What are you talking about? So he had cited a book, His Pronouncement, by R.G.S. Collimore. The book provides no documentation of Aranist celestial navigation. I looked, I couldn't find anything. But here it is. You can look yourself. You can download it and find it if you want. What followed was a string of constant diversions, though. When you navigate in the south, assuming the globe, it's been shown navigators consistently get off farther south. Sure, because magnetic declination wasn't well documented at the time. Nothing to do with celestial navigation. So I ask him, cite your supporting evidence. I say you won't. Of course he won't. MC Toon obsessively stalks my content. Well, there we are, back to putting others in defense mode, victim blaming and playing the victim, right? Literally, oh, where'd it go? Literally, objectively says it's a red herring at best. Good job. This guy was nice. I liked him. I'm like, that's a diversion. Dude said this is me diverting. It was you diverting. Where's the documentation of cell nav, that's celestial navigation, consistently not working far south? When a liar gets caught in a lie, they add more lies. And he says there's a lot. If there's a lot, then it would be easy to post them. He just projects his dishonest. It's sort of his MO. Again, how was I projecting? You made a claim. You didn't back up that claim. I asked you to back up that claim. You didn't back up the claim. I asked you to back up the claim. You didn't back up the claim. How is that projection? It's a diversion. That's not cell nav. That's magnetic declination. You made a claim of specificity. That's why the OnlyFans of his channel, hey guys, hey OnlyFans, are atheist degenerates that spew hatred and lie constantly. Lol. Duh, that's not just magnetic declination. Well, it is. You didn't cite anything other than magnetic declination. But people, apparently you are all atheist degenerates. Now, degenerate, you may recognize, is a word that Santos uses a lot. I think Austin's been hanging out and listening to Santos. Extremist says, and that is your MO, to use psychological tactics to get under the skin of those that disagree with you. Good job, extremists. Extremesis. He says, there are numerous examples in there. Try again, bud. Then you should just be able to point them out. So that's another tactic of a liar. Literally objects. Asking for a source is not an attempt at psychological manipulation to fool your audience and those who show you're wrong. I said celestial navigation, that's your claim. Where is the supporting evidence? He doesn't think he needs to be held to his own standard. And then again, MC Toon, everyone that is not a degenerate atheist liar thinks you're obsessed with me is very weird. Your obsession with... apparently, he goes back to that. Insulting people. Apparently, if you're an atheist and you're a fan of me, you are a degenerate atheist. You see what he's doing. He's He's using he's basically telling us what he is doing, right? He said psychological tactics. He's using the psychological tactics. I'm just saying, send the citation. He can't. So claims other people holding him to his own standards are at fault. Classic liar cover-up behavior. And then, oh, my wife finds it very weird, lol. What's that have to do with it? Diversion. And literally, objectively, more psychological manipulation instead of providing a source. Say diversion. And look at that. He says page 44. He actually came up with a number. Anybody that actually had any evidence would quickly, just as soon as they could, just send it. Here you go. Here it is. Take it and go look at it. I do it all the time. I constantly post links to evidence. They never look. So he actually sends a screenshot of it. The problem is that it doesn't help him. It doesn't actually help him. This is a quote from somebody talking about the losses that the insurance companies had identified in the 1800s due to shipping. Right? 10,000 humans died. At the present period, annual losses at sea attributable to the same cause, almost to 500 lives, and property valued at £1 million sterling. All from no other cause save an erroneous astronomical theory. Such losses will continue unless that theory ceases to be applied to the practical purposes of navigation. So he did find astronomical theory. So what is astronomical theory? Well, it's never actually stated in the book what astronomical theory is. Is it magnetic declination? Certainly could be. Is it getting your position using celestial navigation? No, it's not. Never has anybody actually shown a citation where here, this would be what you need to show. Here's the measurements that they took. Here's the star angles and stuff. Here's the calculations they did, and here's the position they output, and it was wrong. Never showed that. It was just astronomical theory. So what this is this is somebody else claiming the same thing that Austin is claiming. Well, turns out that the same two people claiming the same unsubstantiated claim is just a plurality of unsubstantiated claims. So, but it doesn't actually. He said it consistently, to remind you, celestial navigation consistently does not work far south. And all he has is erroneous astronomical theory. What in particular was it? Because many things could fall under that umbrella. Someone claiming it is not evidence of plural. It is a plurality of unsubstantiated claims. What is meant by astronomical theory? What is the specific application of astronomical theory that was used? In reality, this is about erroneous magnetic declination. That's the book talks about that at length. He cited another book, same thing over and over. Magnetic declination was at fault. Specifically, it was talking about around Cape Horn, South Africa, right? Where magnetic declination is very large. So, if you look at the magnetic declination maps around Cape Horn, the magnetic declination is very dramatic. And if they did not know what it was, it's also a treacherous place to sail. And so if you don't get your bearing correct, you're going to be in trouble. You can't, and here's the thing, you can't do celestial navigation like you can at night during the day. You can use the sun, but there's limitations to what you can do. And so during the daytime, you need to use dead reckoning and magnetic headings. And if your declination's wrong, you're going to be in trouble. So there's the one from today. And I know some people were on the Discord server while I was doing that and enjoying watching him squirm. And he did squirm. It was good. I enjoyed it too. So Whitsett, I think I've made the case here. People, you're free to draw your own conclusions. You can find all of everything that I found, or everything that I covered is in the description of this video. mc2.net/Witsit-lies is the 4 things that I covered in particular at the end here. But as you encounter Witsit, find some claim that he's made, and then ask him to apply his own standard of evidence to that claim.
You make a positive claim of specificity, you have the burden of proof of specificity.
He doesn't like being subject to his own standard. He never does. He never actually supports his claims. He will lie about something and then hope that his audience never checks on it. And he's correct about that. The people that are his target market, they don't check him. But Austin, I'm on to you. You're lying. You are a pathological liar. You may not know it. You might not. But you are. Stop lying. That will require one very difficult thing for you, though. You will have to admit that the earth is not flat. That's at the end of this road of you not lying anymore. So, Judy Got This says, there's so many parallels between Witsit and Chile de Castro. I am astounded. And I was talking to somebody on Discord the other day, yesterday, who was saying they had only encountered one person that was a pathological liar in their life. But now, when dealing with flat Earth, when talk and sovereign citizens, there are so many. There's certainly a lot of psychology there, right? These people have been people that lie a lot get marginalized. They don't have deep personal relationships. So when they find a group of people that accepts them, they stick to it. So I think that sometimes flat Earth turns people into liars, but also I think more flat Earth collects the liars. It collects some pretty horrible people: Santos, Pratt, Dubé, Whitsett, QE, Oakley, INREM. These, I mean, they're dumb and they've got deep psychological problems. Not all of them, but man, it's disproportionate by a huge stretch. Significantly out of proportion to how much to the general population is. So, all right, I got a few things, a few super chats and stuff I'll read here. So yeah, all right, who's Chile de Castro? Chile de Castro is a sovereign citizen guy who some of the flat Earth debunkers got tired of flat Earth because it's, kind of dumb. And they went on to doing videos about sovereign citizens. Don't need that anymore. And Chile de Castro is like the king of sovereign citizen. And he manipulates people. When somebody gets hurt, he'll go like to that community and say, oh, I'm going to collect some donations for him. The donations will go to him. And then he'll send some to them, but he'll take off the top. So, and Chile gets arrested often, and he's got severe problems. Yeah, if you're interested, go find Team Skeptic, Irish Demon, The Plot Hole, Miss Mandy 777. Who else? Anybody else? I don't want to miss anybody because there's a lot of good people that do stuff. JL Warren. A lot of people do good stuff in that realm. Schrodinger's cat used to before he passed away. Rip Schrodinger's cat. Good guy. Miss him. All right. Well, Fact Base says, let's find his teachers' or classmates' opinions. Yeah, when Whitsett was bragging about his teachers and how good he was at math. Ba of the QTube family for $5 says he'd be lucky to get a full ride to Cumberland Farms convenience store. Maybe he did get a full ride. I don't know. I'd be very surprised if he did. I would be much more understanding if he got, a quarter ride or something like that. Oh, Brainy Beaver. Yes, Brainy Beaver. He's right here. He's right here. Brainy Beaver's in the chat. Go, Beaver, put your link in it. Go right now. Go now. Subscribe to Brainy Beaver. I love him. He's so good. He's so funny. Always inappropriate. I mean, always. No, never mind. He is inappropriate. Let's see. CVMC Color says, there's a new member for 3 months, says, in rodeo you show, don't tell. He's the one guy. I don't get that, but thank you for that. Icy Spin says, reverse engineer ChatGPT. Ask what question this answer is for. I did try to do that. I tried several different things, and I even got a video. I'm not going to cover it now, but it's on the links. A video of me typing and then going to the links that it provided. Guess what? None of them exist. And then, oh, you know what? I will show this one thing. This one. It's worth it. So I asked ChatGPT for citations, and it gave me citations, many citations. And I just copied and pasted all the citations, and some people sent me some as well. So here on Witsit line 1, I have a list of the papers that ChatGPT has given me. So ChatGPT is really good at inventing junk citations. All the following citations were completely fabricated by ChatGPT. They just go and go and go. They're just invented. Gravity field variations due to climate change and melting ice sheets. The effects of atmospheric pressure variations on high precision gravimetry, the impact of climate on absolute gravity matter, right? It just goes on and on. Some of them with links. These links generally don't exist. They give you a 404 error. Let's see what this one gives. Just picking one at random. Influence of meteorological parameters on gravimetric measurements by the National Physics Laboratory. Oh no, it's a 404. Look at that. It gives bad links. So Whitsett, I don't know where you got them from. Did you generate them? Did somebody else send them? But you lied about it. There you go. That's on that page there. Have fun. Have fun looking at them. They have got to just make him salivate. He's got to look at them and say, oh, there's one I need. But it's not. They don't exist. And the two that you found don't help you. The one specifically confirms that mass attracts mass. First law of Flurf. First law of Flurf. CVM Color says he read The Fallacies of Debate. It's what he has. He does like to play debate roulette. Debate roulette is just barking out fallacies. So it's fallacy roulette. Barking out fallacies until somebody doesn't complain that you said you invented an inappropriate or used an inappropriate fallacy. The rabbit says, wait a minute, are you calling Whitsett a liar? My mind is blown with that accusation. I heard he's the best at math. I don't remember who said it. It's well known that Whitsett is good at math. The reason why it's well known is because he just won't stop saying it. Aaron Reese says, I painted a wall today that was far too complex for Whitsett. 3 whole coats. Cindy Sue is a member, a Newton member, but had a super chat, but didn't have a message. So thank you for that. It was as a member super chat. Dave Kircher says, wow, I watched 1-2 debate, went offline for 4.5 hours to West Coast family time, and you're still going. Thanks for all the interesting concept. Tuesday is the best day. Thank you. I do enjoy this. It's getting late, but I can't go to sleep after these. Anyway, I'm just wired no matter what for another hour. So PhD Tony's about superconducting gravimeters. Thank you for that. I already read that. Gaming with both hands says, so you're not stupid because you're a flat earther. You're a flat earther because you're stupid. T-shirts. Well, yep. I would not be surprised if they exist. That's it. I mean, that's definitely it. What do you say? Flat earthers, you're not smart. You're not woke. You didn't figure something out. You didn't uncover a lie. You're just not bright enough to know that your Papa Flares are dumb. You're dumber than them. That's what you don't quite understand. So, PhD Tony says Witsit's wife married him, so her grasp on reality could best be described as tenuous at best. And the thing is, I don't know if she is also a pathological liar or if she just believed him. But in looking up some stuff, when they were in, I think, California, she's out there with him on this evangelism tour. And she's out there reading off of her phone, right? What is she reading? She goes and she lies, claiming that there's never been a picture of Earth from space. And her supporting evidence for this lie is Robert Simmons' NASA. And she reads off his thing, leaving out, of course, cherry picking, leaving out the important part. Let me cover it for you. Robert Simmons used photographs taken by satellites orbiting the Earth. That doesn't work for you, flatties. But she didn't mention that part of it. He took satellite pictures and mapped them onto a sphere to create a single one blue marble photograph. One. That's it. And he said the reason why they did that was because at the time there wasn't any people or devices far enough out to get an entire photograph of the Earth. And he specifically said since 1972, since people were out there, Apollo missions. So they always leave that off. It was satellites. It was one photo. He admitted that people humans were there taking pictures from a far distance. All of that is left off because they manufacture this lie. So Kai, did you know when you said that it was a lie? Or did you just believe the lie? It doesn't matter, Kai. It's a lie. So, Fact-Base says Witless never had it. Needs a TNT enema. Well, maybe not. I would not say that's what he needs. Dave Kircher said, I remember Shane St. Pierre loves his I'm not paranoid, you're just an idiot shirt. Please tell me you'll never wear the flat earth because stupid next time you're in Tartaria land. Please tell me you will wear the flat earth because stupid. No, I won't go there, I think. So what happened to Shane? He hasn't. So Shane, all right, I'll give you this and then, yeah. So Shane had been on the Tartaria server and he was the guy that was like doing all the footwork. Dovid owns that server. Dovid is maybe, sorta, not sure, a concaver. Don't know. He's kind of quiet. So, and he doesn't want to be in the forefront of it. So he owns the server, but Shane was running it. I don't know. They had some disagreement. And so Shane started his own server. And I don't think is on the Tartaria server much. He was on the Earth Awakening server yesterday. So just like, he's just kind of the puppy that's, parroting things that Witsit said. And it's, it's Brian Leakey or it's Michael J. Smith or it's Shane St. Pierre that are like sitting there next to Whitsett, like, oh, what he said, he's awesome. Where didn't even say that? He said this. Like, whatever. A little bit of a fanboy. I like Shane all right. I wish that he'd not be so derpy. Shane, you can do better. Anyway, he has his own server, and so I don't know. The Tartaria server is changing for the best, for the worst, probably for the worst. So anyway, that's what I have. Doron Lowdown says, are you calling the man a liar? Just like a coward to do it when he's not around. Well, in fact, I did call him a liar today on the Discord server multiple times. So I did call it to his face already. So, what do you want? Do you want me to invite him to come on so I can show him his lies over and over again? I did that a couple weeks ago after he debated PhD Tony. I specifically said he's lying to his face. Doesn't matter. He can't hear that. He's a narcissist. It doesn't match his reality, his fantasy world. So he doesn't hear it. So I don't care. What I want is everyone, flat earthers, normal people, to see him for what he is. Ideally, he would get better. That's really what I would hope to do. He has shut down communication with me though. Right? He doesn't answer my messages and my DMs. He doesn't. I've sent him emails that he hasn't replied to. So, I actually, 2 years ago, created a DM with him and some other men to specifically call out his lies, and he never responded to that DM. So I've gone through. I didn't mention this, but I could have. I think it's worth them. There's a process that some people suggest is the way to do it, and I tried that process. You directly confront them with people, with you, right? Together, you confront them, and then have this opportunity. He refused to even respond. So anyway. If you disagree with me, people, if you think that Witsit did not lie, please do. I'm willing to hear you out. I have my email address is mctoon@mctoon.net. If I'm wrong, and if his multiple different stories actually do check out, I don't know how multiple stories can check out, but maybe in some way I missed something. Tell me. I have listed out all of my stuff. Everything that I showed today was things that I clicked on from my web page after I made the web page. And I've given you all the links. It's in the description. It's on my website. So there you go. Yep. Anyway, that's what I have, people. Thank you very much. It's been a bit of a marathon tonight. You can get here. There we go. It's been a bit of a marathon. So it's been fun though. And like I said, I'm often wired. Can't get to sleep afterwards. All right, here we go. He comes clean. Here comes Doran Lowdown says, I don't know. I'm a hopeless troll. I have no idea what I'm doing. Just desperate for some kind interaction, I guess. Well, hey, own it. We'll give you some interaction. You'll get interaction here. So, Brenda's exhausted. All right, people. Thank you very much. Whatever. Austin. Hey, if I'm wrong, Austin, let me know. Let me know. See you later. Or not. The video, it didn't work. You know, it would have been more interesting. It would have been a little more interesting if that outro actually timed better. but it hung. Darn it, it hung. All right, people. Let's see. What did I say? I said, Witsit, do better. Nailed it this time.